even, something over this journey that I've realized once I started the foundation was that even kids with really, really good parents don't tell their parents everything. They don't maybe feel comfortable opening up about those things to their parents. And I've had kids tell me that, like share things with me that I was kind of shocked that they didn't share with their parents. And so that's that pressure. That's the new age of of high school, I guess, is that kids don't even want to share things with their parents, even if they have good parents. These are like the best parents I've ever met. And these kids aren't sharing it. And so that's like the thing we're tackling is that even at a level where these kids have good parents, there's still things that they're dealing with that they don't want to talk about. And so, yeah, post COVID, the numbers are crazy: anxiety, depression, suicide attempt. Kids feeling lonely, they don't have any friends and stuff like that. Like it's actually crazy numbers. Once a kid is to the point where they feel that low, it is one, heartbreaking and just incredibly difficult, right? We have to tackle it before it even gets to that point, before it gets close to that point, because the kids don't have emotional intelligence, because they're not educated on the skills that they have. Because every person, doesn't matter who you are, billionaire, millionaire, it literally doesn't matter where you come from, you battle things in your life and you have to have skills to fall back on to help you get out of those holes. It's just the reality. It literally doesn't matter who you are. You have those battles.
What do you think the fundamentals that are needed to change, I guess, like mental health in general?
Man, we're just really selfish. The world is just really, really selfish. And I think that that's a gigantic issue, right? Because that stems down, that's kind of like the top thing. And there's so many different things under that, right? Lack of kindness, not positive, because all you care about is yourself. And that is being bred every single day, whether that's social media, whether that's commercials, whether that's people you interact with. And we just have to figure out a way to not be so selfish. And I think that starts with accountability, authenticity, vulnerability, all these things that I've talked about, gratitude, calling people out. Like it's just, you have people, I don't know. You have like the best description that I like to give, and this is I guess a hot take. I don't think it's a hot take, but like you have, I don't know if you watch American football, but Patrick Mahomes, who he makes 50 million a year playing football, slams his helmet on the ground when they lose a game. Well, I don't even want to know how many kids that look up to him, which is he's an incredible football player, but there's kids that look up to him and then they see that, right? And now that's okay because he did it, when really like it's just not. And so then you have that just trickles down everywhere. You have parents that aren't accountable because they don't, I guess they're not ready to be a parent. You're never ready to be a parent, but they don't have the selflessness to put in the time to spend the time with their kids. And that is like, man, if I could tell you, it's the saddest thing I've ever seen is like 7 out of 10 times I see parents that just don't pay attention to their kids, dude. It's probably the only thing that gives me anxiety in my life is watching other parents just like completely dismiss their kids. And it's so common. It is so freaking common. And so maybe that's the solution. I don't know, but it's really selfishness, right? Whether you want to be on whatever it is, right? Like nothing, no social media platform is more important than spending time with your kids. And that is a tough thing to balance because we're forced so many different things. And so you really have to battle it, right? Like the social norm is exactly the opposite of the things that I'm saying, right? Like the social norm is to be selfish. Like if you're not selfish, it's odd. And so if we don't flip that, I don't know. It's a tall task, right? It's a very, very tall task if we don't flip that, in my opinion.
So, as a parent of three children, which I know you're like massive on your kids and your family and just being a father in general, but like, what would you tell other parents who want to raise their kids with the key ingredients, aka emotional intelligence?
Oh man. Yeah, lead by example, right? If you tell your kids something and you're not doing it, that's the easiest way to fail. And I've learned that the hard way. My wife has learned that the hard way, and it's real. Like it is really real. Like that leading by example and doing those things, and then consistency. It's really about consistency and like training them. A lot of people think you have to discipline your kids, which I don't disagree with, but you almost have to train them, right? Because it's our job as parents to help them be good people. Like that is how I feel like a parent's job is, to raise your kid to be a good person and to have the skills to go out into life and battle those demons that they're going to face and those ups and downs and the challenges of life. And we've come into the society that's like, you hear Gary talk about all the time, 8th place trophies, softness. And it's just like, that's also a motivation with our foundation, is that the world's not nice. Like, I don't know where in the last 20 years that someone said that and we just completely shifted, because it's just not. Like, you go out in the real world and you're like, oh my gosh. And if you're not ready, if you're not parented properly, if you didn't have mentors in your life, like, you're gonna get hit in the face and you might not be able to get back, right? And so yeah, I would say those things, like leading by example, being who you say you are, and following through, and discipline, like, and consistency. Sorry, I think those are like. Other than that, like, it's intense, right? Having kids, like, I love my kids, and but there's days, there's hard days all the time, and they talk back and stuff. But how can you know, I would say, like, the proudest thing I am is that my kids are kind. Like, my kids are really kind. And so it's like, my kids are kind and happy. Yeah, sometimes they do some crazy stuff and act out, but those two things are there. How can we get better at the other things?
Thanks for tuning in. If you haven't already, please make sure to subscribe to our podcast and let us know in the comments below if you'd like to this new format.